Hey everyone, welcome to another evening of ESL Challenger League Season 48 in North America. I am JRT, joined by Exner. We've got a pretty awesome matchup for you guys tonight, M80 and NRG. Before we get to that though, how you doing, Cole?
Fantastic, and I'm again just really excited to be here watching these two teams play up against each other. This is going to be an exciting matchup because we've seen NRG kind of contain a little bit of regional dominance, and it'll be good to see them test their steel up against a team like M80.
Yeah, no, this is going to be really, really interesting because, in my opinion, I feel like these two teams might be a little closer than some people might think. I think on the NRG side, because M80's obviously proved themselves with Lake and everything. But let's check out those standings as we're going to jump right into it. What I wanted to say was M80's proved themselves, even though they lost Malbs, picked up Lake, and they didn't miss a beat. They had an incredible run in Pro League, right? And you see here their standings, they're sitting at 10-0. They're lower in the standings, but that's only because they haven't had a chance to play matches, Cole.
Yeah, they haven't gotten a chance to win them yet here, but this
Yeah.
is going to be a matchup, like you said, that's going to be, I think, deceptively challenging for an NRG team that I know maybe is coming off the back of some disappointment in terms of like missing out on the RMR in the future and taking a couple of tough losses in qualifiers. They have looked pretty strong in the recovery effort, in the bounce back, and in ECL, it's been particularly strong here. Currently sitting at 20-2 at the moment. I think they've recently just took down Wildcard in a 2-0 night, so they've got a lot of exciting prospects. They took down Nouns just not too long ago in the NA Revival series, so. They've been taking down the top dogs recently, and I think that leads to a lot of potential, a lot of excitement in this matchup because this is a team they would love to challenge themselves against.
Yeah, I think NRG went from a team that was like middling out just outside of the top five to one that belongs within the top five in North America and can challenge any team they go up against. And they've proven that, right? In the Revival Series, like you were saying, that win against Nouns in the grand final, and they were very dominant there, 13-10 on Anubis and 13-3 over on Vertigo. So I'm expecting good things from this NRG roster.
I'm right there with you. I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a promising sign from an NRG roster that, like you said, has been quickly rising to the occasion here and becoming
Yep.
more of a stabilized roster. I mean, it's kind of what you expect from this squad as well. Like we should be seeing this squad come through with the IGL of Nitro being able to develop this level of success. I think the expectations for this roster were to get to a point where they can have some of the dominance that we've seen in ECL seasons of the past from a team like M80, and you know what we've seen as well from Wildcard and being able to punch upwards quite a bit.
Yeah, let's check out the rosters here for both the teams and talk a little bit more about the individuals that, or excuse me, schedule first. We'll get to rosters after, but schedule. Obviously, we have M80 versus NRG, and then Party Astronauts up against Iholos Laser. That's happening on the B stream, I believe. That should be interesting. Party Astronauts still looking a little rough around the edges, but they should be pretty solid, honestly, moving forward once all the pieces click into place. Yesterday, they divided the series 1-1 against Boss. Both teams look good on their respective map wins, right? On map number 1 versus map number 2. But anyway, all that being said, let's jump into the rosters here, Cole.
Let's see what we're up with here on both sides of things. As you said, big moves for M80, big shoes to fill for Slacks. We've highlighted this quite a bit in the past, but a player that has been able to kind of fit a very explosive, exciting role in the side of M80, and Lake, who has joined this roster in an incredible fashion, made a splashing debut in Pro League, and it's something that I talked about compared to season 20 to season 19. Yeah, they did get that big victory versus G2. I think they had a little bit of a more difficult run into playoffs, but in this case, M80 was able to lock in playoffs, and I think that's such a big accomplishment for an organization that lost such a key piece, such a clear star, and is now able to bounce back and prove on an international stage that they are here to play.
I think what was impressive for Lake is that going into Pro League, he wasn't necessarily one of their top fraggers. It was Sin and Slacks that were kind of taking care of that role. And then Pro League started, and he was their top rated player throughout the majority of it. I mean, ended with a rating of 1.11, I believe it was, or something along those lines. He was in that vicinity, and it was just impressive, honestly. As we're going to check out the veto, guys, for the maps that should say the first map we're going to have. It's a BO2 reminder, so it's going to be first of 2 maps, and we will get Ancient here. So, yeah, I mean, looking at Ancient, I think it's pretty solid for both teams. I don't know if there's necessarily a weakness to be exploited here.
Yeah, I mean, both of these rosters have such good strong suits. When you actually talk about the last two maps in particular, like Anubis and Ancient, both are very strong for both of these
Yeah.
squads. So I feel like we could get a little glimpse as to what's gonna come up in the future. But Ancient as well, like yeah, it's just again one of those situations where you very much so understand your role. Lakes come through as a bit of a strong aggressive element, and for the side of M80, I think there's just so many different tools that they have to succeed. That's why I kind of give them the edge in this matchup. I do agree with you that it's going to be a bit closer. I think NRG are going to have more fight, but the versatility of M80 right now is going to be a little stronger. That's why I predicted them to close out this night in their favor, and you as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have to lean towards M80 just because of how well they've done on the international stage. I mean, I think they're sitting at number 20 overall in the standings, or in that range right now in top 20. So that's really strong for this roster. As a North American team, it feels like they're one of only three now that Complexity, Liquid, and themselves that have cracked through and been able to show that they can go up against these top competitors in Europe and find success. So for me, it has to be M80 that comes out with the win. But I don't think it's going to be an easy one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why NRG are coming into this matchup. I would imagine very prepared, ready to go in terms of this head to head, because there is a lot in line. There's a lot to prove. If NRG can come through and kind of disrupt what M80 have been building, that's going to be a promising sign. That being said, as highlighted, just from like the job that he was able to do at Pro League. We put up Lake as our Kadia player to watch, and I feel like for a good reason. There's a lot of players on M80 that you can highlight. I've been super focused on Lake to see how he's going to do on this squad, and I think a lot of people understand that. It's big shoes to fill. He's been stepping into this role nicely, developing as a player very quickly, and yeah, I mean, for me, gonna be my player to watch for sure.
Yeah, no question for myself as well. And I think that one thing that was on Lake's shoulders is a lot of pressure, right? Because having to replace Mobs, who's a star rifler now playing for G2, it's not the easiest task for you to embrace, but he absolutely has. And I think it's also not necessarily all Lake that's been required to perform, at the top level. They haven't put everything on him. The whole team has gelled. They've got a great system going on there, and I think that's also a key to their success. So if a piece does go, they can fill in the void and still continue to find success because they've got good IGLing going on there, good coaching, and just a nice structure in place to succeed. So for me, I think there's two things to be happy about. One, obviously Lake being performing really well. If you're M80, that is, Lake performing well. And then two, showing that you don't necessarily rely on one individual to find your success, which some other teams might not be able to claim,
Yeah, I mean, as I think I've highlighted in the past as well, it's just like this roster also has a player like Rec, who again understands his roles so effectively, can play within this system, can really play so many different positions. That's what I mean when I say versatility. Like, he understands how to make so many different moves all over the map, is very good in these anchoring positions, and I think he's a huge asset on this squad as well. And it's a very similar fashion as to what you highlighted. We could get kind of a battle of what has been fragging IGLs. I mean, Nitro's been playing in a good way as of recent. He's been performing even up against tougher competition. Like, the calls have been very good. He's got that killer instinct, but also he's been able to bring a couple of very impressive sequences versus some of the upper echelon NA teams, versus Sin on the other end, who has done just the same, and he is very available to shut these games down. So it's going to be interesting there, that head-to-head that we see in the server.
No question. I mean, if you look at the ratings over the last 3 months, which is not just Pro League, but going before that, it's Slacks and Sin who are at the top in terms of rating, almost identical at 1.16 for Slacks and 1.15 for Sin. But, just to highlight again how well Sin is playing, despite the fact that he is in the IGL role, which isn't typically expected to frag out. But I think we're seeing more and more, especially in NA, IGLs who are able to frag and are able to do well. You have Sin, of course, here, Nitro on the other side. And yesterday I was watching Cryptic. I mean, Cryptic for Boss is honestly one of the most underrated IGLs, I think, right now in North America. One of the ones that's just flying under the radar, but is actually putting in a ridiculous amount of work, right? Yeah. I am really impressed with him. And I honestly feel like, I said this yesterday, I feel like next year at this time, he'll be on another level. Like, he'll have that time to cook and really get himself to perhaps even playing at the tier 1 level.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, from what I know about him, he's been trying to get out of the IGL role so that he could be. I imagine more of a hot prospect in terms of like, it's tough to make it up as an IGL. You have to make it up with your team that you're working with right now. He's
Yeah.
working with Boss, and he's been doing a really good job at it. I mean, again, made the RMRs. I think that's a huge accomplishment. But he's doing it without an organization. He's doing it, with pieces that you wouldn't say are like top ECL caliber pieces, and that's definitely an impressive factor right there. So I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big Cryptic fan, but yeah, the fragging IGLs have been out in full force. Even Stan, I think, in
Oh yeah,
Pro
no, I
League
agree.
was playing crazy good. So it is funny how that's working. It's just maybe we have a bunch of IGLs that can shoot back.
Apparently, I mean, there's four right there, and like it's all really good examples of exactly that. And Stan, I think talking about wild card, they're also a team that's on the up and up, and them and NRG are the two teams in North America that have really shot up immensely since making a couple of changes. Right, it was Fuzi and Susp over on the wild card side. And then on the NRG side, it's just swapping Nitro. So yeah. Anyway, focusing right in on this match, guys. We're going to start in about a minute, I believe, and get into the action. Ancient, as we were talking about, probably going to be pretty tightly contested. It is the top map, and you're already saying it, Cole. The top two maps are Ancient and Anubis for both squads, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see those two maps come through. Starting with Ancient, you look at the record for M80 over the last 3 months: 7-3. For NRG, it's 10-7. And I mean, for M80, we have to keep in mind as well that some of the competition was pretty tough. I mean, they beat Complexity 13-6, lost MIBR 8-13. But also had, in NA had a ton of wins, and they've played against Falcons and lost 9-13. So some close matches, I would say, against some good European competition and South American competition.
Yeah, and I mean, again, as you've highlighted, it's been a very fresh-faced M80 with Lake and some of those international debuts. So the fact that they're able to keep things competitive, get some wins underneath their belt, is really promising. I feel like, again, this is a roster that is looking to just consistently level up with more and more of that competition. I mean, they got Challenger Atlanta to look forward to in the future as well. And I think kind of setting themselves up for success for that event and getting some wins in NA is going to be key. You'd imagine they're kind of in full steam ahead mode right now, ironing out so many details as they prepare themselves for this event, because in their mind, with what they did at Pro League, I think they're a contender to close the whole thing out. I think they could make that case for sure.
No question. Honestly, it's the first time that I myself have gone in towards a challenger event and said, okay, there is a North American team that has legitimate shot of taking it all. And you
So
look
you're
at the
telling me there's
competition they're up
chance.
against. Yeah, I mean, I think more than a chance. I would even say favorable odds that MA could come out and win Challenger Atlanta, even a wild card. I think that they could go in as maybe a dark, I don't want to call them a dark horse, but I guess they could be a team that comes out and is able to perform at a level that people may not expect. Anyway, let's focus in on this match right here. We're underway. Pistol round, NRG, M80.
Let's see what they got here cooked up for us on the pistol. Out of the gates, some pressure being put on towards this catwalk. There's the flashman to cue up the aggression. It's also going to cue up this mid play. Finally a swing. Oh, they just waited. They suffocated this mid hold and swing at the perfect time. Automatic's aim gets a little shaky as soon as they pressure, and that's how they close things out here. It's going to be a very strong 2v4 now. And with that kill going through, I feel like, the B side has to be where they finish. And there's a chance for Nitro to put up some decent little resistance with this USP, but he needs to get his teammate called over in time. It's a fancy smoke.
Yeah. Bit of a gap on the right side, but
could be
not
used.
too bad.
Nitro? Against him.
Yeah, you definitely used against him. Breeze, the last one standing. Definitely going to be a player to watch here tonight. He has been at the top of the scoreboard more often than not, but this time he is on the bottom of the floor there as he gets headshotted by Sin. That'll do it. 1-0 in favor of M80. But yeah, no, players to highlight for NRG, of course, just mentioned Breeze. Hex is the other one who has been popping off in a significant fashion for this squad throughout the weekend in the Revival Cup Series number 3. He was incredible. Breeze was as well. So, I mean, those are the two names you always want to watch. And then after that, it's not like these guys are slouches. You Nitro, you got OC, you got Automatic. All three of them can frag out. So it's a solid roster. And obviously the same thing on the M80 side, but we all know what M80 can do. They've already proven themselves at the tier 1 level.
Yeah, I mean, no question. And like you said, Hex on the other end of things with his current form is probably the most exciting I've ever seen him in North America. The numbers that he's been dropping are in tip-top shape. I think he has really taken the motivation of Nitro. I think he's even been given a little bit more trust and faith in this team, and he has passed the test in terms of the resources that he's able to gather. Sometimes it's not even resources though. I think he just trusts himself so much with his firepower at the moment. So it's good to see him in confident form, and I'll be obviously like looking to see that carry forward in the future. Because he was, I mean, in a very similar way, like a hot prospect like Lake in the past. He's looking to show exactly why he's the guy that can get the job done for this team.
No question. Well, now's going to be a good time to try and prove that, as it's already been 2-0 here for M80. Pretty decisive start from them as well. Only one frag to speak of for NRG, and that was in the pistol round. Obviously, it was an eco in the previous one. They got to buy up here. The problem is 3 M4s, 2 FAMASas, no util, only a flashbang and a smoke. Outside of that, they're a little bit stuck, so they're going to have to take some fights and win them quickly. OC already leaning in towards a red room. Lake and Slacks on the other side. They could be in trouble, Lake and Slacks, because if the pinch comes through from Donut, there's problems happening here. Slacks gets one. This flicks around to get the second, and Lake finds Breeze. The pinch was on, but nothing happened. 4v2, only Hex and Nitro left, and they are on the outside looking in with only the FAMASas. All 3 M4s are gone.
But just quick spring into action right there for the side of M80. They take this control so effectively, and then as soon as they get the chance, they get explosive on the inbound. And this save is not secure. They're going to be hunting very quickly. That's a nice kill from Hex, but Sin's right around the corner ready to shut it down. And there goes your first gun round, kind of swiped aside by M80 with some quickness. It is one of those problems that I see a lot on Ancient in particular, is these first gun rounds on the CT side, especially if it's a third round buy, are always missing some of that crucial utility. It requires a little bit more contacting. And those are some of the problems NRG fall into right there. This hunt, this FAMAS should be safe. He's hiding.
Yeah.
they knew where he was at the end, but not available to find him in time. And NRG, they're gonna look to bounce back here, but probably have to take an eco first. Half buy, I guess we'll do. They'll get something going, but probably not too much.
Well, we'll see once when NRG is going to get into this. I imagine soon. They need to. Otherwise, M80 are just going to run them over. But that wasn't what I was expecting. Obviously, you can look at it and say, look, M80's got a ton of experience, did well at EPL. Everything should be rosy for them. But I feel like NRG can't be underestimated. We'll see. Oh, my God. Like a beautiful headshot onto Nitro. That was the only real gun in the round. Then he gets the follow-up on Hex. Everyone's looking phenomenal right now for M80. Iraq gets the headshot automatic. Swisher's got nothing in terms of frags or deaths. So, I mean, nothing to be celebrating, nothing to be disappointed about. Just sitting at even numbers there. As Slacks going to be coming out with the AWP. Like, I don't think Swish cares. As long as this team is winning, that's what's important. Slacks going to get the op shot on Debris. OC the last one standing here, Cole. Alrighty. As it is 4-0 in favor of M80.
Yeah, I don't think Swisher minds too much anymore about you know, maybe the slight drop off in like individual performance. Talk about at some point, like, this guy was dropping monster numbers in international competition and would lose 2-0. But now he gets to win these events, he gets to prove and go into playoffs, and again, like, I've heard Lake talk about him as a huge motivating factor and like a very good leader in that sense to a young player, so definitely feel like he's got some really cool intangibles that he's taken into this team.
I agree. No, I'm definitely with you there. I think Swisher's taken on the tougher roles, isn't necessarily in the fragging roles anymore, and is more supportive, and mostly, I would say, in terms of the util usage and maybe trying to get his team help his team out with some entries. But like you said, it's the intangibles, like a good teammate, a good leader to support Slacks as like the secondary captain, so to speak, and I think also a very positive motivator, keeps them focused in tough times. Speaking of tough times, he is the first one to fall here. 5v4 in favor of NRG. Breeze. And again, Nate, a Molly down to 71 here. A little bit of spam by M80 through A main, and they got all 4 players here. There's the smoke pop. Breeze around the corner. Gonna do a lot of damage. Great flashbang. Automatic comes back with 3, though, and that will leave Slacks on an island by himself.
What a great spray down there. The flashbang was perfection, and I thought that was going to be the ticket in to that A bomb site, but the player standing behind him and automatic locks it in. Locks it up here. Slack's going to be put on notice. Has to fight for this AWP save. They're not in much of a position to too aggressively hunt him down. So he might be good to hold on to his weaponry. There you have it. There's a great round from automatic. Nice A1S spray as well. 3 kills in the clip. And NRG on the board on the CT side.
Yeah, no, that was solid from automatic. I mean, obviously it was a great flashbang to delete Breeze by M80, but automatic was right there to recover. M80 just couldn't get past him. 3 players dropped to dirt, and then Slacks is left behind in A main, wondering what the heck just went down. So, first round found for NRG. Still a ton of money available for M80. They got the 4 AKs, the optical util. On the other side, NRG need a couple in a row here to get their CT side rolling.
Still a lot of money in the back pockets, yeah. Oh, hear this early rush. Look at that. Breeze is listening in for information. He even blocks the donut smoke, but he can't block that headshot coming through from Lake. He finds the entry. He's traded by the op with the quickness. But they're going to lose control on this site. That Molly's going to flush in forward. The flashbang doesn't go deep enough, but Slack still holds the back lines. And OC, he's gone with 2. The mid lurk dealt with, and somehow it Slacks within a flash. Left last man standing. Looking for an extra fight, but he's getting boxed in right now. Needed the adjustment on the automatic. He stuck his way through. And it will be a comfortable defuse. They get caught a little over-aggressive there in the 4v3 and get punished for it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good, an apt description of what happened. Just overextending, I would say, were M80 trying to go for fights that they shouldn't have, and they ended up, I don't even know like how that happened so quickly, right? It was a 3v1 before we even knew. Just blinked and all the M80 players were gone, and Slacks again left his last one standing with the AWP. Not an ideal situation, and immediately isolated by automatic. So NRG do indeed string those 2 rounds together. Still enough money for M80 to get pretty much a full buy. Slacks has to settle for only the smoke, but outside of that, it's full util and full guns here. Blazing for M80's Swisher, speaking of blazing, he is just running on through lane. Yeah.
A whole obstacle course he had to get through to get just up and towards Catwalk. The amount of utility that gets tossed right in his face. That is absurd, but he manages to get up all past it with only taking a little bit of damage. Rex are waiting for this re-aggro towards middle. Smoke's tossed in. Automatical challenge, the early fight there, and Rek gets rewarded with his patience. This time a flashbang as well, flying up. They don't throw any of those red room smokes. They just wait for this aggression all over the map, and they will give them the fights they're hoping for. That bullet whizzes by X as well as he looks to dance over the edge of this smoke. He's gonna go through it. He is toast. Knife? No. Since not about the funny business. It's strictly wins here. X blocks and back turned. Probably just jump scared him at some point, and M80. It was a hiccup there, but they get the round right back. They just wait for them to fall into their crosshair.
Yeah, that's just it's the German efficiency, right? They don't mess around. Serious business right there from Spin. Also, he does manage to get one on Rek. Lake jumping onto the
Lake's
site.
gonna go for the knife though. Yeah, he is.
Probably
Yeah,
will.
he is. Yeah, he is. Yes. That's more like it.
Of course. That's
And
the
a little-
American way, right? The
And a little
flashy
tactical
stuff.
crouching there as well. That's so funny, man.
It's interesting seeing like the immediate comparison between like the mindsets, right? We're always going for flashy plays, and over on the European or even the German side, they're just
I
like,
got one kill B.
don't mess around.
He is dead. He pushed the smoke. Just those robotic calls, and then you know on the other end of things, I bet you Lake screaming, "Get knifed" or something. Look at me, look at me, Hex.
Oh boy. Well, M80 feeling
Lake.
pretty good, right?
Not another
I thought
knife.
he's gone.
He didn't fully clear it, and Lake gets another one off the back of it. This now hold towards the B site could crumble. But it's a huge kill for Nitro to alleviate all of that stress. There's multiple members identified here, and on the other end of the map, you also see that Rek has taken the initiative out towards A main, and is now rolling on in towards the A bomb site, calling it clear and getting those extra players rotated over. The one big point here is that OC could get in a position where he could cut off the bomb, and Sin is the only one with a smoke. He has deployed it. He threw it towards CT, so it's right where it needs to be, I believe.
Yeah, it's perfect because the operator won't be able to get any visibility. NRG have a lot of control down bottom mid, but that doesn't really matter since you know, M80 are already on this A site, planting the bomb right in that top corner. And NRG almost certainly going to have a look. Money-wise, it's not great. So they need a quick one, and I think that might convince them to save, because immediately Rek finds Nitro swinging around off that flashbang and donut, and yeah, there you go. NRG realizing, okay, we got an op, we got an AK. Better to carry this forward than to throw it into the wind.
Did go for an all-in investment there as well, and it is nice to save a couple of guns at the moment, and especially that AWP, but M80 just controlling the map so effectively. Lake getting away with some crazy antics, and these are the sort of numbers and performances here that you do kind of offer up the question of, you know, can he fill the shoes? And obviously, you know, Mabs is one hell of a player, but the way he's just flying out middle, getting himself into these crazy positions, finding a multi-kill off the back of it, it's just so effective. 157 ADR, popping off here in another game.
I mean,
and then
Lake
when he gets
always
taken down, it's Rek right behind him that, you know, can take that A space and say, guys, A's clear.
Definitely. I mean, Lake's always been a great player, right? I think it was fantastic scouting on the M80 side to pick him up, and I mean, he's already proving that he's pretty solid in a Pro League. That's when he started to climb the ranks, I would say, in terms of stats and get to the top for the team. And now he's really embracing it. I think on the NA level, he's really going to be able to pop off. Breeze is going to get the headshot on Rek. That's not that great for M8. Lose a player that quickly there. Smoke pop. Lake gets one. Can't get the second. Fantastic trade from Nitro. Flashbang going to get tossed forward. Sin spamming through the smoke. Won't be able to get it. An automatic, in fact, with the CZ. Spot Swisher getting a little lackadaisical on his approach. Now we're in a 4v2, and everyone from NRG has a rifle. They only had pistols coming into this, but it's now 3 AKs and an op. And I don't see how M80 are going to fight their way out of this one. Slack's now in a 1v2. Needs to hit the shot if Automatic pushes here. Automatic might have seen him.
Oh.
Firing off a shot is Slacks. He does see the bodies. He knows where they are.
Oh my God.
No, Automatic will end him. And NRG wins an unlikely one.
Yeah, it's huge to pick up a round earlier than they maybe could have anticipated. With little investment being able to be brought in, they get it done with the pistols. A CZ. One of Nitro's specialties there. He loves that CZ.
Yeah.
But get the job done on getting him a little over-aggressive in that B side. I mean, again, when you lose Rek in a play like that, you lose your lurk. I think you got to speed it up as well. But they run through the smoke, and you never want to run through a smoke against pistols. That'll just be near certain death. Speaking of running through smokes here, Lake is bumping into one another. A chance now for Automatic to get the jump on this mid play as they make their way through forward. It's 3 kills from Automatic again, and 1 clip of the A1S spray. He's done it once more. But oh, OC, is he not aware of this? No, he's not. And in between them is a Hex on the prow. An opportunity for Hex to now look to recover this one as the bomb and AWP is being brought over, but how aware is Slacks of this possibility? I mean, when Hex is still on the server, you have an idea. Will he clear his corners effectively, turning it around? Both players boxed in because I believe they heard the footsteps through the water. And Slacks is on such an awkward angle. Hex is now not paying attention to where the fight could be coming from. And Slacks is going to get a peek, walking right into his crosshair. It's Hex. Oh my god. They line it up perfectly, and Automatic's 3K gets shut down.
That is so discouraging if you're on my... Like, guys, I got a 3K. I literally did everything I needed to do in that situation. I waited for the smoke to fade. All 3 players I saw done. And you can't win it. What happened? No, but really, M80 played it well. I think Slack's exceptionally patient at the double doors towards the B site. Waits for the player to come through. Hex was in that vicinity for so much time. But we can't forget the contribution of Sin, who gets the first one going towards that B site. OC just caught completely off guard. And then he swings around to find the second to make things a lot more comfortable for Slacks, who still had to get to the bomb site. But, I mean, he was in no hurry at all. Wanted to wait to see if anyone was going to peek around there, and they absolutely did. NRG are going to be kicking themselves a little bit. I think that's a round that they shouldn't have let slip away, and it gives M80 a 7th. And also, not to mention NRG, their economy hasn't really had a chance to settle in, right?
They haven't had that opportunity to build up any economy. You need rounds in a row for that. They can't find it. Automatic giving them that 3K would have been the chance, but I mean, again, this is where see some of the op presence here. Sometimes a little bit of struggle from OC, not being caught, fully aware of the possibilities, and Nitro will run headfirst into the spear of Slack's AWP, but Breeze and Hex will do a good job of pulling it back here, and so the man advantage vanishes and then turns into favor for NRG instead. Well, Uno reverse card as Slacks goes for another swing. Not a hit this time around, but Sin has made his way into the site. What is happening here? Caught with utility out, knife out for OC. He gets caught completely surprised and now getting run down from 2 different angles. He does have a rifle though. And Rek cannot make his way through the smoke. He's hoping for a line, but as he walks through, he will be leveled out. OC this time, wide awake and ready for that potential push. Slacks can't get anything done with that Tech 9. Too much distance in between them. And there you go, NRG with another one of these scrappy buys gets the job done.
Honestly, pretty wild. I was going to say exactly the same thing. Like, it's the scrappier buys that NRG are winning, and then when they get the full buys, M80 takes control. And I think that's the 3rd time out of the 4-round victories that Slacks has been left in a 1v3, which is pretty crazy that that's happened so consistently when M80 have been losing rounds. Anyway, M80... heading into the final round of this half, are buying up whatever they can. It's going to be 3 Galils, an AK, a Tech 9, and 5 pieces of utility. I think they had a bit more at the beginning of the round, but they've already put it. As you can see, that smoke on Catwalk. Breeze, ooh, getting aggressive. Pushing out all the way to the end of a main. Sin's gone. That's the bomb as well. Oh, no. NRG, I don't know if they realized that was the bomb because actually Breeze smokes off a main, so it will be grabbed again. Maybe he would have pushed out if he'd known. OC gets the shot, even though he's dinked in the process. Lucky that was a Galil, and Nitro finds one onto Swisher. 5v2, NRG looking pretty comfortable.
Should be able to close the distance if it's not for a meddling Wreck and Spawn who's looking to find a couple. He needed a couple. Now it's just on the back of Slacks here. Without his weapon of choice, and with a lot of targets to chew through. The one silver lining is that he has the bomb, but it'll drop, as will the round, and NRG will fight back for 5. We'll be seeing if they can keep up the momentum after a break.
Alrighty, we're back. Second half of action, M80 NRG, and NRG had a nice little recovery on the tail end there. I mean, it was a rough start for them, down 4-0, but once the guns came out, it got better, but it wasn't because of the guns, it was because of the scrappy rounds where they had the pistols, where they were able to get some rounds under their belts. Let's see if they can continue on here as they switched over to their T side. Opening frag from Breeze onto Rec. You still have the dualies to deal with on the M80 side. Lake and Swisher rocking those with the body armor as well. And Lake going to be at the tip of the spear here. 3 players to challenge with great flashbang throw, but he can't capitalize on it. Does manage to slip away, but no frags to speak of for M80 yet. Look at Swisher go, though. He's pushed up to the doubler. If he only gets one, now it's up to Sin and Rec on the A site to hold the fort, and they've gotten one as well. 3v3.
Oh, Hex is on a solo mission with the bomb. You can't make the case to run in solo towards the bomb. They were trying to sell a fake, but now he's boxed in. Oh, and there's the bomb that drops to the floor. They've ripped this round away. They ignore the problem with this A side because they know where the goal is, where the package is. And they take that kill. Swisher's push down B ends up with some very valuable information. And they now have to recover not only a 2v3, but the bomb is first things first. They've got this knotted up as well. 2 sets of dual Berettas to get past initially. At least Lake is low, so that's something to lean on. But they hear the footsteps. Both players kind of being identified hearing the noise towards middle. We'll see if Sin's attention turns away. He's waiting for a chance to swing. Lake's going to let him pass, and then he gets a free shot to the side of the head right there. It's a comfortable victory off the back of that play.
Wow, that was really well played from M80, right? You talked about it. They saw the bomb. They knew it was there. They said, forget about these guys over at A. We are going to cycle around and trap Hex in this position at Cat. They boxed him in, bottled him up, and just destroyed him as soon as they spotted him out in that position. And that gains control of the bomb. And then another really nice note is that Lake lets the first player pass. So they're not even thinking about what's going on in Jaguar. His first frag comes through from Sin, and then Lake activates to ensure that he gets 15th frag on the map. He's at the top of the scoreboard for both teams here. And M80 have extended their lead back to 3. Oh, Sin's got the information. They're probably going to toss that nade on forward now. It's going to do a ton of damage. Maybe just the bullets. Yeah. Yep, it is the nade and the bullets. Swisher getting 3 frags. He has already performed better than that first half in terms of frags. And it's 9 for M80.
There you go. Gets to feast up those sweet ecos. As you highlighted again, he's been very sacrificial with this roster.
Yeah.
Stepping into some more tough roles for this squad and been able to fill it nicely here. Again, I think a player with such a level head that it's not going to take a hit on his confidence. He's still bringing in those effective positionings. And we saw in the pistol round, he didn't leave that B site too early. He didn't open it up for access. He instead ran forward, dropped the bomb. Got that information. Guy that's adaptable, a guy that can play smart. Initially sacrificed a lot of those roles so that Mouse could join the squad. Still trusting in Lake. This new guy is Rec. It's a signature position on almost every first gun round. I see him play close, jiggle with a Molotov out. Almost what he does at every opening round, and he does it again. The Molotov lands the kill, but they're losing out on these rotations here. Cutting off is automatic, who continues to fight forward so effectively. There's a player in Temple that they should be concerned about. Is it covered? Yeah, it should be watched by the player on Tree. OC has his teammates back, and it's a pretty easy case for Sin to make the save. Although, he's going to have to fight for survival in this one. X is closing out on him. And will pull through the flank. MP9s will hit the floor in the bonus round. Going to be knocked out by the side of NRG.
I think NRG just caught them off guard at every single turn. Just the pace was not expected by M80. Swisher trying to walk his way out of CT towards B, and automatic cuts him off there. And NRG taking control of that round, which technically was a bonus, but M80's money isn't good enough to get a full buy-up out of this. It's going to be 2 FAMASas and 3 M4s. They very much like those FAMASas to be M4s as well, but it won't be the case here. We'll see if it's a difference maker. NRG's still down by 3, so they need to pull together a few in a row to get all knotted up once more. 4 players heading towards that B site. And Sin at a critical juncture here in Jaguar, where NRG may be headed very shortly. It could just be Nitro, though, which would favor Sin if Nitro tries to push through the smoke, but Sin's not feeling it. Spidey sense is tingling. He says, okay, Going to back off a little bit. And Nitro does eventually make his way into Jaguar. He's got support. It will likely be a bit of a hit. It's definitely going to be one. Sin has to move away from a Molotov. And he won't take that much damage from it. It's Nitro staring down here at what will be a smoke blocking off his vision. The NRG might have to make an adjustment mid-round here.
I mean, no cave control granted. They do throw a lot of utility at the problem, trying to keep them away from this play. But Hex will solve some of those problems straight through the wall. That is persistence from Hex. He will collect a kill. Slacks doesn't get to play the round because he got wall banged. And now, off the back of that, Sin is going to also concede some of that cave control, force into more passive positions. And again, the persistence might pay off for this T side. They're playing dodge flash. Nitro not caught, not phased by that bit of utility. 25 seconds though, man. This is a lot of fear, but they're getting a late rotation. They're starting to rotate off of this B bomb site, and they've given over space enough to at least get some access on the bomb site here. We'll see if they can get some comfortable bomb plant, but they wait for the flash to roll on in before they swing. Swisher sidelined. 7 seconds. Time to lock it in, and Automatic is looking to close it out through eliminations, and Rek is just left scratching his head as the game plan comes up completely NRG.
Nitro loves to go for those late round hits. I mean, he's done it before, especially on Ancient. I see it a lot from him and Stanislav. I remember those two teams, wildcard versus NRG on this map.
So long games.
Very long, very long games here. But, you know, it works when you get those. You have to be perfect, obviously, because you have very little time, and there's still a lot of bodies to take care of. But right there, Nitro was the first one to get a frag. Said, hey, guys, I'm going to lead by example here, making sure he gets one. And then the flank comes in at the perfect moment to trap M80 and really give them absolutely no chance to respond at all. And you see that leads to the save for Rex. So NRG are going to string two together. Economy's completely shot for M80, and they're just going to be on a full-on eco with the FAMAS in play. I don't think anything gets purchased up here at all.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a lot of solid investment from the other side of things. Even Rek tossing over his smoke for Slacks. That's a real good teammate right there. Just keeping his Molotov. Smoke will go quick towards middle. Rek will look actually play off towards middle. Sort of going over towards that A side. Automatic not giving anything here in this head-to-head, and the rifle does sing for a quick kill. He's down very low, but there's a potential for that AK to be picked up. There you have it. Lake able to grab it. Also got a Molotov. But now they need to get back involved in towards this B side. See what he can do from the cave position. It's going to be difficult. Flashbang's going to make it even harder. Perfectly placed. Hex with the setup. Wow. Breeze to knock it down. They don't have coverage for the bomb plant, though, so an extra casualty, it shouldn't cost them too much. Sin's going to make his way out of this one right into the open arms of Automatic, and... Oh, okay, yeah, we're good. Not gonna fall victim to any sort of shenanigans, and... NRG onto 8. They're closing this distance quickly and really coming through with the efficient T side so far.
Yeah, honestly, that was Automatic and was it Slacks or Sin? Excuse me, Sin looking away at the exact same time. Like
Yeah,
they both made
180.
the look away exactly when one of them could have had the jump on the other, and neither gets it, and then Automatic finds the easy one. Well, NRG will be on to 8. That one was a bit of a gimme. Now the guns will be back out for M80, 3 M4s, the FAMAS, and the MP9. And they're just going to run it in. Wow, that's a nice flashbang coming through. Breeze manages to get the trade, and then Hex finds Sin as well, but a lot of damage done by the IGL, and now that's going to matter because Slacks managed to take out a healthy OC. Breeze going to plant this bomb, but M80 are immediately threatening here. Smokes are up to slow them down a little bit, but Hex is low at 11 HP. Luckily for him, M80 don't have nades, and Lake has been removed. Slacks manages to get the trade, but this is becoming more and more untenable for M80. Breeze waits, spots it, and now Slacks is trapped in cave. Trapped outside of the bomb site, and he will just be backing off to save the AK.
Gotta hold on to it. There's another quick play, and as you highlighted, Nitro taking some of the slower approaches in some of these rounds, but a lot more speed, a lot more pep into the step there on a B-side call, and it catches them off guard. And this is what I talk about when you talk about bringing Nitro into the squad. You come through with a lot more killer instinct in the calling department here. They have this dynamic range of a T side that can go both very quick and very fast, and I think he times these calls really well, is what's crucial. Conditions those slow rounds throughout the majority of this half. Now he speeds it up. A little tempo change goes a long way, and NRG locked themselves in a tied scoreline, and they've broken the economy once again. Lake fast towards middle of the 5-7, getting caught with utility out. He's blasted out of the round. HE doesn't quite land for him. Hex is walking his way through the smoke, but the job's already done. Automatic. Doing so much heavy lifting in the opening stages here. Making the job easy for everyone else, and the A play is just going to finish this round off.
I mean, seeing NRG play like this just makes me more and more disappointed that they couldn't make the RMR, right?
It's truly tragic.
It really is. Because I feel like they belong there, and they're just, I mean, they didn't win enough, so they don't belong there, I suppose, but like they would not be out of their element at all.
Yeah, I feel like it came as such a high pressure environment there, and also, to be honest, I think they made a couple mistakes in the veto versus Legacy, but barring that, I really thought this was a roster that could be locking it in, and then, you know, from that point, you set yourself up for, you know, a couple boot camps there. You get yourself prepared. I actually think they also could have been another team that could make some waves at the major. I mean, obviously got a lot of NA bias to me, but in terms of like what they're showing right now with what Nitro's been able to show in the past as well, as such a strong leader with a lot of faith from his teammates. They're back in form, you know, Breeze and Automatic. And then Hex, as I said, you know, as of recent, playing at an all-time high. I really feel like this roster could have done some damage. They'll obviously look to do some more in the future. I think they've got a lot to look forward to. And I'm excited to see them, but you know, winning out ECL, like making it to some qualifiers to get to international competition like M80 has been doing, is a key factor for this squad. It's the next step.
No question about that. Oh.
Sin. Oh, sin. Playing a dangerous game. Automatic another entry, and they're out A? Oh, this is feeling a little bit doomed right now. Shadow advantage, and it's a little labor, but it'll get the job done. They've got a little bit of control towards A, but they're all over the map. And this is pure chaos.
Yeah, this is really bad for M80 because they've given too many gaps in their defense. They have no idea where NRG has gotten to, and they're just scrambling to find out where the bodies are. Automatic's got a great angle here. Flashbang does nothing, and he finds the freebie onto Swisher. Rec will just be falling back, and NRG are on a ridiculous run here. It'll be 11-9 in their favor. Rec does manage to find that frag onto Nitro. I would expect OC and Automatic are going to chase full on here. They have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain by getting the op ripped out of the hands of Rec.
He just walked away with so much control. You can see victories all over the map. And now we're seeing M80 really hope to rely on some individualism with some of these plays. Rec is caught in a miserable timing. OC will get his reward of an AWP and an extra kill. No op saved. I mean, as I was saying, like, Sin making this very forward-facing move through cave to try and close out some of this catwalk control has been important. But, you know, fighting up against a head-to-head versus Automatic right now is not going to be an easy task. Timeout much needed. We'll see if that experience from the other side of things from Depth can come on through and breathe a little bit of life into him.
I mean, it is gone from what looked like an incredible start and a map that possibly could have been easily going their way to being down 11-9, not in a position to buy up either. So they're going to have a half buy coming through, potentially losing map number 1 to NRG. But I mean, we already framed it in the pregame. NRG are underrated in a lot of situations, and they can definitely go toe-to-toe with a team like M80. I just thought that M80 would be able to overcome them, but as it stands, well, I mean, it's not over yet. This has been a lackluster CT side.
A lot of surprises with how easy this T side has looked. There's even more credit to Nitro. Doesn't have to come with the fragging, but the calling circles around this. Defense has been very impressive. Now, again, you got to get to the point where you can finish off this map. That sometimes can be a whole new challenge. Off the back of an M80 timeout, can they fight forward? You got to do it on a scrappy body, give NRG a taste of their own medicine here. A lot of targets on this B site. I haven't really messed with A all that often in terms of bomb plants. The slow cave control, I mean, that's been the bread and butter of NRG. If they can wait a round out, test the waters, bait the utility of the CT side out late into the round, I mean, they show that the poise and comfort to close out in a late game scenario.
This could get a little hairy for NRG, though. They're going for a full-on rotate, and Rec has a lot of forward positioning here into A main. Automatic expecting it, so good on him. Very heads up here. Goes around. Loses the fight fairly cleanly up against Rec, and now NRG don't really have space. You have to. There's only 25 seconds left, and this is the danger of waiting too long. No, Breeze is alone with the bomb.
Breeze, you cheeky devil. Oh, God, he's not going to move, though. They're waiting for this donut play here, and there's no rotates. They're very far removed. Rec has to do it by himself. 10 seconds is going to cut it close. The recovery being made, and Nitro knows he needs to cut off any chance of denying this bomb plant. It's just about enough time as Sin flushes forward. He's blinded up, and he can't fight forward. I mean, it's enough being done from Nitro and Breeze to close it off. They had just enough time to win it, and NRG will steal the round away in the end.
Absurd. That's crazy play coming through from Nitro. He gets the one, swinging around through Donut. That was, everything had to be called perfectly, and the coordination on NRG's side was exactly that. I mean, getting the players all rotated in towards that A site, supporting Breeze, who had the bomb on his back and could have been exposed, but he wasn't, luckily for him. And then the rest of the players come in, and Nitro gets the first, but then the next two, he's just pre-firing because he knows they have to come from CT, and he gets the first one on the pre-fire, the second one spraying down the players. They were trying to stop the bomb plant, and with 5 seconds left, the bomb gets planted just in the nick of time. Sin is going to get the opener here. M80 need 3 in a row just to push overtime, but NRG are on the cusp of taking the first map here and handing M80 their first loss of the season. Breeze, headshot onto Rec, even at the numbers. Unmax got a great spacing here, moving into Donut. He finds Lake 4v3 in favor of NRG.
Smoke goes down towards CT, cutting off the cross. No vision for Slacks. Spam. Test the waters just a little bit. Dip your toes in. See if the water's nice, as Slacks is forced to sit inside of the smoke to dodge the Molotov. Time's now ticking in. Time is of essence. Another smoke tossed in towards Slacks' location as well. It's nearly going to force him to run through it. And on the side of NRG, they know it. They're looking for the gut punch here. Sin flashed forward, trying to go for the fight. Swisher will find the first on the retake. Another one from Swisher. He finds 2 quick kills. A lot of impact in trying to save this one. But the smoke, it goes in towards Donut instead of on the bomb. And now Slacks is going to be a challenge to defuse. He can't pass it. He burns in the flames. And Hex is going to clutch up here to close out for NRG.
What a Molotov toss. That's just muscle memory coming through there, because the smoke was up and he's just like, okay, I know exactly where I need to throw this just based on my positioning, and he just nails it. I mean, nothing that M80 could do to get that defusal. It was over. Round was done, and so is the map. Wow, 13-9 in favor of NRG. It was just suffocating what they were doing to M80. The off-speed pitches that were being thrown round after round. They would go for the fast-paced play, then slow it down for the last 20 seconds. Crazy. Let's look at the Kadea player to watch, who was Lake. He had a ridiculous start, right? But then slowed down immensely as we got into about the halfway point of the match.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in winning rounds that first half, yeah, he had a lot of impact there. Was always available. Winning rounds on the CT side, he was a clear win condition, but when they were starting to lose their grip, it definitely felt like he took a bit of a hit. I mean, had 15 kills pretty early on in that second half, and only ended up with 16 in total. So sometimes that can happen. You're a very high energy player. You have these very pop-off moments. You struggle to actually manage to take that throughout the whole series, but or rather the whole map. But who did have that impact there was automatic all the way through. Even when he was getting frustrated with like winning 3Ks and then losing 3Ks,
Yeah.
you know, it felt like he was always consistent, and he was a big factor in opening up that T side.
Yeah, I love that Automatic can always step in and fill the shoes of a Hext or a Breeze when they're having an off map, and he's always available there. It's like what I said before, like this team is so deep in terms of how much firepower they have that even if your top guns aren't firing on all cylinders, someone else can fill the void. Look, that's map number 1 wrapped up, guys. We have map number 2 coming up, but we're going to take a quick break before we get there. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to ESL Challenger League M80 versus NRG. The first map going NRG's way, 13-9 on Ancient. Now we go on to what we predicted would happen here. Cole is Anubis coming through since it's the second best map for both squads.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a lot of sense here out of the gate, seeing these two maps kind of flare up. We've seen so much of what this M80 squad can do internationally. We've seen a lot of those reps come through on a map like Anubis, and it just feels like it makes a lot of sense. Again, I really like the way that Rec plays that A-bomb site. He's on both sides of the half, looks super strong, versus an NRG roster who have what we've just seen is a lot of killer instinct, a lot of availability for these effective T sides that can now carry forward. As you highlighted, if it's a little bit of an off game from Hex in terms of an individual performance, you can have a little bit more success from a player like Automatic, and you can get right back up to another high level. He was finding so many entries, and multiple different pieces, putting NRG in the victory column there for that first map, and I want to see that continue into the next, and I want to see a little bit more out of M80 as well.
Yeah, let's check out the veto, how we ended up getting here. Obviously, we already know we're going to Anubis, but yeah, it looks like the nuke ban comes through and everything else just followed the pattern that we honestly expected. Speaking a little bit more about Anubis, we can't forget that the longest map in CS2 happened here up against Fnatic, M80 Fnatic, right? 37-34, 8 overtimes required in that one for a decision, and it was M80 coming out victorious. So I mean, they had a 5-game win streak going to that one. That was their 6th in a row, and then lost to MIBR, which had to be a little bit of a gut punch after having that success up against Fnatic. They lose 10-13, but I mean, definitely M80 are an absolutely lethal team here on this map, and I feel like they'll be able to get a bit of a stronger performance than they did on Ancient.
I 100% agree. This is the map that they want to lean in on here. And potentially, like, I feel like they could have picked into this map in the past. They've had some decent success versus NRG as well. But they started off with Ancient to see, I'd imagine, if they could test their ability up against a squad like NRG, because I know they're super comfortable on Ancient. They have that strength. But Anubis, for me, definitely feels more favored for M80 in terms of, like you said, that amount of reps that they've had internationally. Watching them versus Fnatic in that matchup, watching how Slacks can rotate with that AWP, it's just something to behold. The availability of Rec, again, on this A side is such a safe pair of hands that you can trust on a defense over and over again. And then that leaves you with Swisher and Lake over there towards that B side. And those guys can show up with big multi-kills whenever you need to. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that you face when you're playing on a map like Anubis, is having players that can get big multi-kill moments, having that availability on a defense to hold down a bomb site. And it's not an easy task, but I feel like better than a lot of teams, M80 show what they're made of on this map.
No, you're right. I think you're 100% correct in that on the defensive side, you need those players that can pop off and have individual crazy plays. In fact, that's what we saw yesterday from the Party Astronauts. They were the ones getting the individual crazy stuff happening on their CT side, and it's what led them to having a 7-5 lead on their defensive end going towards the attacking side of the T side. So for me, that was impressive. And who was it that was getting it? I can't remember the name. It's just slipping my mind right now. But honestly, an Automatic, for example, comes to mind here as someone on NRG side who can really pop off and do that versus on the other side, M80. I would say Rec. Like, he's the one I would likely look towards here on Anubis to really have some really strong impact on the defensive end. We're not talking much about the T side because we expect them both to have strong T sides. It's Anubis. It's the one map in the pool where that tends to be the case.
Yeah, I mean, if you're again talking about like what you'd expect out of them out of a T side here, should be able to find out pretty soon because we're hopping into the action. But that's exactly what I want to anticipate is M80 coming through with these very good calls towards middle. I feel like this roster uses that side of the map very effectively. You'll see Sin kind of fight forward for it, gets very aggressive in their face, and is good at cutting off those rotations when they play out on that side of the map. But we'll see them start off on this T side. Flashbang to pick up a lot of information. Breeze ducks in and out. They're going to face a full execute right now, and there's no rotates close by, so you gotta hope that these USGs can defend against it. Hex with a shot through the smoke connects, and already a 4v5 post plant gonna line up here. Swisher takes control towards E-Box, claiming a quick kill. More being charged down as well, with the dual Berettas offering up further resistance. They're losing out on those extra rotates. Another player has fallen. They still gotta be weary of OC's potential aggro through this E-Box, but now they're starting to crunch on in on this CT side. There's a quick one from OC. The flank formulates as well. They've got everyone looking every which way, but Sinner, or rather, Sin and Swisher are going to close it out, and they will complete it. I combined the two there.
That works.
Oh,
we'll
boy.
call them the Sinners. The Sinner, if you want to combine. I don't know if anyone understand that, though. Would they realize you're talking about Swisher? Anyway, whatever.
Or just that they think they're a Czech organization there.
Yeah. Anyway, great work in terms of that combination that they pulled off in that round, and Swisher in particular, a 3K, getting off to a very hot start here on Anubis, and 1-0 for M80. The same was the case in the previous map, of course, for M80. They got a 4-0 lead, and then things started to slowly but surely get chipped away at by NRG. Automatic, waiting with the 5-7. It is a 4-spy coming through for NRG. Lake, ooh, firing off a few bullets, and Automatic hears them whiz by his ear, as that smoke's going to get tossed out by NRG towards A main. M80 kind of playing defaults right now, waiting for pushes to come out. Sin taking the initiative a little bit, spots up some information, baiting up for the Galil, and it doesn't really work in terms of frags, but I love the idea.
Yeah, they try and get him to chase there, and then bam, all of a sudden you're in a long-range duel with the Galil instead of a close-range fight with the MAC-10. I like it. Let's see what you're going with here. M80 trying to set the trap on this default that holds strong. This is what they do effective, though. Rek so good at tossing in some supportive utility from this A side now. As they take care of him, they're going to also need to find out where Sin is playing, and he will be great backup in that A main front, joining forces. The rest of the roster moves through camera. It looks like comfort for the closing statement here on the side of M80. The couple of, well, a casualty, and probably an easy call to save if you're Hex.
Yeah, no question. A lot of money invested into this round by NRG. And Hex, hoping that he can keep this UMP up. We saw the UMP coming out a lot more often. I would say like 3 months ago, we thought it was going to enter the meta more significantly, but I've seen it slowly just slip back into obscurity, honestly, and not many players are utilizing it that much. So, yeah, X does manage to keep the UMP in his hands with that frag there, and it will be 2-0 in favor of M80 running into this round. I imagine Rek and Lake are going to go for some SMGs, maybe? I don't know if they're going to fully invest here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not too interested in it. Going all in. They'll toss that utility around, try and set themselves up. A little extra resistance. Again, you got Nitro with the CZ. Classic. She's gonna be good. No, it's a swing first. Your Hex will knock down 2 quick kills.
Okay.
Off the back of the flashbang from OC. Excellent setup. And avoiding a lot of the early problems. Now it's Slacks trying to remove the weaponry. As he tosses out his gun, grabs the AK to make sure that they can't use it against him. One of those could be recovered, though, at least. And quick little 5v3. Definitely is recoverable for a T side, but gotta play their cards right.
Yeah, that was, well, UMP showing what it can do, I suppose, from Hex getting a 2K rather rapidly. You see, I mean, M80's chipping away at Breeze there, but they can't find an opening frag on their side, and they've already lost 2 players. Here comes the full-on execute towards that B site, and this is exactly what they need. And Rek could bottle up 3 players immediately. There's 1, 2, and the third. There you go. And all of a sudden, things are right back in the control of M80, thanks to, of course, the fact that it was an eco round for NRG, and they just don't have the firepower for sustained fights. Here come 2 players, Nitro along with Breeze from Palace. Nitro, waiting for the smoke to fade, could push out through it, but they have no util and no body armor, so this seems nigh impossible for them to pull off, Cole.
I gotta stick around, fade the smoke. I feel like nowadays it's not as effective as it used to be. Sometimes you get caught, kind of exposed a second earlier than when you can actually gain vision on your opponents. That gray screen lasts a little longer. But M80 converting despite down 5v3, despite the efficiency out of that UMP. And what it does do is give an op over to OC full belts of utility for everybody on that first gun round. And I think it's something I highlighted when NRG were playing on Ancient. Didn't have the best buy coming through out of the gates for a third round buy. Well, here on Anubis, they got everything they could ask for, including an op. All the utilities set them up for any sort of aggressive moves that they could ask for. Or if they want to hold back a little more passive, try and hold on to that utility, you can get away with that as well. Looks like they'll choose the latter out of the gates.
A lot of pressure here onto the B site by M80, and I mean, NRG is going to try 2 smokes on the same spot. That is unfortunate for them, and Slacks managed to get one. I don't know if that was in mid-air or not. It might be the UI a little bit off there, but Swisher finds the follow-up as well, and yeah, this is just M80 storming in towards the B site and leaving no players standing. Automatic does get one on the periphery, but I feel like NRG are already set up for a save.
Dude, that was insane. What an execute. Just tossed in with conviction behind it. So many HEs and Molotovs tossed in. You can see Hex was just waiting behind a back dark position, and as soon as he tries to get a little util off, hold his ground, he's met by flashes, he's met by spam and HEs. There's just hellfire on that B bomb site. And that is one of the challenges, I feel like, in terms of holding back and playing passive. If that's the game plan you're gonna go with, it becomes very difficult. It does require, a huge performance out of Hex and Breeze to lock in a site defense. Someone needs to get a multi-kill, someone needs to, get a couple of frags, and then you're able to stay alive as well for a retake.
Yeah, I think they might be discussing potentially some adjustments to be making here as a timeout's been called, and they were able to recover from a 4-0 deficit over on Ancient, but here, being down 4-0 on Anubis is a little bit of a different story because obviously M80's on that T side, and you can start to pile up the rounds, and CTs won't be able to have much of an impact at all. So let's see if NRG can put a stop to this. This is an important one coming through. They have the full loss bonus, so if they manage their economy well, they can still ensure themselves a decent buy-up in the follow-up round, which I feel like they've pretty much done. Automatic and Hex will be okay. Breeze as well. Maybe you'll see a couple of SMGs and afterwards on OC and Nitro. But overall, if they should lose this round, they'll be okay for a decent buy-up in the follow-up. They don't want to, though. They want to come out with a round victory. OC with the AWP could be a difference maker in that department. Let's see. Going and peeking out towards bridge, but no one's there for M80. They're giving mid to NRG should NRG decide to push, and again tossing that util in. I like those nades. If anyone's playing pillar, they're dead, but they weren't, luckily for NRG. And M80 trying to sell it there towards this B site. I mean, Breeze is peeking out pretty aggressively here, tosses the incendiary into nothingness. I would say it's not going to do anything being thrown there, but at least keep Swisher and M80 a little bit at bay.
Seen them go for that quite a bit. Try and cover off like early E-box pressure. Oh, this peek from Slacks. I mean, Slacks is going to see him first by quite a bit. Both shots sent downrange go awry. No connections, and if you're OC, you're probably pretty happy with that end result, considering just mere moments away from certain death. Reaggression, though, is being watched. Oh, automatic threads the timing perfectly, but it's still claimed by Sin behind him. There's more resistance where that came from as well. Sin another kill. As Lake finds the follow-up, E-box gets blasted. It's a nice flank coming through from Nitro, but it might be a little too late. Gotta put more pressure on OC, but he's smoked off. And it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that can help them with that buy up next round is 2 saved guns, and that looks like it should come to fruition. M80 have the argument, given the money they have, to go for a bit of a hunt. I don't know if they'll necessarily want to. We'll see. Oh, Lake's already pushing up. Lake and OC gonna have a duel here. Who will spot the other first? Oh, it's actually OC who fires first, but Lake who actually connects on the shot. Nitro, the last one standing. No ops saved. And they're gonna hunt really aggressively now because they know there's only one player left. Nitro can catch one off though, and he does. Gives him his position up, but it won't matter. He will be able to at least save the A1S into the next round. That said, M80 off to an even better start than they were on Ancient with a 5-0 lead.
This is clean on the T side. This is that conviction that I'm talking about. Got a lot of practice on this map at showing what they're made of in these calls. This time able to handle re-aggression in a big way. I mean, we highlighted that as maybe a potential problem factor for NRG. This time they try and get aggressive, but they're running into the strong default. They're running into this mid play, and they're fully prepared for it. And through E-box, they get blasted just the same. Oh, now it's going to be some pressure on from Nitro. Getting a little frisky. Playing around the smoke, looking to charge his way on in. Not given anything just yet. There's a pressure on the B side as well, so all over the map they go flying in. Slack's going to get flashbang to peek off the back of this. Wreck. We don't want to toss it in. That's a Molotov, rather. It just flushes him right into the AWP. Nitro gets knocked down, and who wants to go up next? Automatic steps up to the plate. Guys, I got it. Same result. On the floor.
Yeah. Battle up from Slacks as OC does manage to finally drop him, but in the meantime, Lake pushes through mid and takes down Hex. OC does flick for a second. Not really a flick, but just manages to hold the right angle there onto Lake. 3v2 for M80. You have to imagine here that NRG are still thinking about a save in this situation because of their economy. And yeah, they're just going to back off. Kind of unfortunate for them because they're making the rounds close, just that they can't justify risking going in due to their economy being in such a dire position.
A little nerve-wracking as well with some of the aggression that I'm seeing. I feel like there's a healthy mix of sometimes you just want to get after it. Sometimes you just want to contact, you want to take a duel, you want to hope that, you know, on the other side of the server, there's not a lot of presence being defaulted there, but they push on the B side of the map and the A side of the map, both without, you know, a lot of utility or extra firepower. I don't know how that B push, you know, fared up. I think they just, you know, traded HEs and backed off. And I think that was designed so that the contact could take place a little more efficient. But the B push got them nothing, no ground at all. Whereas, you know, you would expect or hope that if that B push is successful, that maybe, just maybe that would turn the attention of those A players away. You'd have a chance to maybe get active. But that wasn't the case. It's shut down pretty swiftly there, and in the end, it's just more opening impact from Slacks. His op is just so good on this map, and you're seeing it in full force right now. And this, for me, I feel like has to be, you know, on both sides of the half. I think there's always moves that you can make effective as an opper, and I don't know if this is shown in the stats, but it might be one of the best op maps from what I've seen recently.
Wouldn't necessarily be that surprising. A lot of angles to hold with the op, and all of a sudden Swisher is going to get hexed here. I was going to say it's a 4v4 and Sin was dropped, and maybe NRG would be able to do something. I like that smoke pop that they were able to pull off. Good little sequence from Breeze and his teammate, but now M80 immediately gained the man advantage once more. Wreck waiting outside the smoke. Here comes the B hit again. It's been exceptionally successful for M80. There's only one player here. It's Breeze. He's kind of trapped as well. I mean, his teammates are coming through, but he's already going to be dead before they get here. Here we go. Freebie for Wreck because Breeze is so distracted from that hit towards B main. And now the other two are split up, and eventually Oh, never mind. Slacks is going to take down Nitro. Automatic, the last one standing. I was going to say, eventually you got to try and go for it, but, you know, as soon as one is spotted out, he's done and leaves Automatic in a 1v4 attempted save. Nice shot from him onto Slacks, but he is just trying to keep the gun up.
I mean, oof. Sideline there by Rick. I was looking at Slack stats in particular. It's his best map, and it's probably because they win it a lot as well. Like, that helps in your stats. But also, I just see him play a lot more active. Looks comfortable in so many opening fights. As you said, battle hopping feels a lot more comfortable for him. And looking good. Opens up the round back to back now.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going
more T-side efficiency.
Yeah, he's just going to holding on, I can't speak. Unorthodox angles. There we go. I got the words out eventually. With the AWP, just really almost a shotgun hopping, right? Battle hopping. Got a lot of different words for it, but he's doing a great job of it. And look where Swisher's already gotten into. They have no idea he's here, and Swisher gets a freebie onto Hex, naded out to 53 HP, but now OC's in a bit of trouble. Does manage to get the trade on through. And we'll swing around here. Rek fighting an A main, and he gets surrounded and dropped here. A lot of focus on his position. That will indicate to M80 that they have to move fast. He's still at the back of the site. They're going to try and stick this plant right under his nose, and they absolutely do that. The smoke provides enough cover, and one thrown in towards E-Box. The Molotov pushes Breeze back as well, and M80 might be able to make this work in a man disadvantage situation. Lake gets a 2K spray down. Automatic gets only one, so now it's a 2v2, and the man advantage again gained for NRG. Fast and furious here on the attempted retake. Slacks flashed out and fragged out. Finally, NRG have a round on the board.
That's an excellent flash to close things off. You do not want to let Slacks get moving with that AWP. I mean, he was already on the right line initially. Had the right idea in the opening stage. But Flashbang gets him instantly off, and the chase down from OC successful. That is, I mean, really just a great round from OC. When Swisher gets out towards that pizza position, that plat close left out of B main, it becomes infinitely more difficult. And you can see OC is kind of contained into such a small, thin area. If he peeks too far left, he knows an op is scoped up and he's done for. So the fact that OC just threads that needle perfectly is so effective here. This is Flashbang to get aggressive towards the B side. Lots of flashes to back it up. A 1-for-1 trade, but complications in how Hex gets out of this. It's going to be fighting for his life. He follows it up with an extra kill. They're looking to get more aggressive throughout the map. As Rek gets exposed, it's maybe going to queue up Nitro to get forward, but another kill out of OC, doing fantastic work, setting up those flashbangs, and being able to catch Rek in this aggression. And that will get Nitro pushing and pumping in towards that flank now. So it is now a containment game, as M80 are boxed in on this sort of island towards B at the moment. I'm going to try and fight their way out of it, but not going to be an easy task.
It's a little weird for NRG, though, because if M80 stays silent here, Nitro... Okay, no, he realized. There's the nade to finish off Slack. Likely. No! Slack survives with 9 HP. It doesn't go deep enough, and now they're going to push down mid, say, okay, if someone's behind us, there's probably a lot of space to be gained here, and they would be absolutely right. The problem for NRG is... Oh, no! Automatic completely overlooked! Lake and Slacks are gone! I was going to say, the problem is, each player is isolated, and it feels like a sure trade, regardless of the site M80 choose, unless they go out with their knife out and don't realize that Automatic is right behind the smoke. So NRG do indeed get a second in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they knew that Nitro was a player flanking, but they probably had a decent idea that his job was to, you know, call over as soon as they went middle or contact. As soon as he takes that pressure, that we maybe start to shift up where the duo would be, and that duo would ideally be towards B side, but Automatic is such a surprise to them when he's around that corner. Smart little counter-strike being played is, look at this aggression towards B. They set up those double flashes again. They have to run through a Molotov, but what is that? Lake runs through the smoke and collects a kill onto Automatic, the savior of last round. OC playing whack-a-mole right now with his AWP. Is he going to win this game? No. He continues to step his head on up.
What?
And eventually knocked back down by his Swisher. It's all on Nitro, and again, you know he's over towards his A side, so they're just going to run it away into the B site.
Just a brawl into mid there. All the bodies dropping in that position. That's tough for NRG after winning 2 in a row. M80 just ratchet up the pace completely and run them over.
I feel like splitting the difference here is just going to create even more questions than we came into this day with.
Yeah, I think so.
You know? Wanted to see if M80 would come back and still be able to dominate in the NA scene. Obviously, NRG have been in the rise, kind of dominating in a similar fashion, getting a lot of wins underneath their belt, and now if it's split even, just another team that's going to be gunning it for a good position for these qualifiers. I mean, this is a 12-match win streak that NRG are trying to defend.
See if they can keep it going. Again, very T-sided map. If NRG can scrap together one more round even, that'll help them out as they go over to their attacking side. If they win out, it's obviously even better. 4 rounds is very serviceable on CT Anubis. M80, they want to charge in towards this B site. 4 players already set up here. The lurk is wreck. Looking around to see if anyone's trying to get in on a flank here. No one is just yet. And I don't think M80's going to wait around much longer. They do not. 2 frags immediately end the third. No resistance to be found from NRG here on the B site.
And those the crossfires that can get broken down so easily. Back-to-back rounds, we've seen very aggressive stances from NRG and pressing forward on that B main side of things. But again, there's such an explosive nature to this map, and how you can take control. Those B side executes when the utility's tossed out can be brutal. But now, save called in. Guess if you're M80, you probably just want to send all your resources, barring the AWP, to try and hunt this down. Don't want to get too silly with it, so they'll wait and spam the smoke. Lake, gunning for a kill here, not going to connect. No certain death is probably around that corner, but there you have it. I landed, and they're looking to shut down any sort of fight back the NRG have in this map.
Well, a 10th round would certainly push them even deeper into the doldrums here. We're seeing that OC having to settle for a 5-7 here. Not the greatest of buys for energy. Sure, it does feature a couple of M4s, and you have the full util, so it's not too terrible. But staring down at this deficit is probably what's making them a little more concerned. M80, switching up the playbook here. Going towards A, and Nitro waiting in a good spot. Oh no, deleted immediately, and OC only gets 1 before he falls as well. So advantage M80 as they move in towards the A side. Flank is on. Does Swisher realize it? Automatic, trying not to make any noise. I think Swisher's already seen one, so yeah, he knows that they could be up close and personal. Tosses the molly down. Look where Lake is. Lake gets 1, and the follow-up. Swisher the last. It is all M80 here as the first half comes to a close, and we head to a break. back into it here. 10-2 for M80. They only need 3 more rounds, and this one's done. Obviously, it's the old tried and true saying that the pistol round is absolutely critical here for NRG if they hope to stay in this one. As they switch over to their T side here, Cole.
It is critical. Lining up an execution that they might never get off because they're just getting cut out of this one. 2 quick kills roll on through. The execution does come through eventually, but now they still have to crack through the final remaining member on the site. Needs to get a little extra support, but might not need it as Rek is locking down this defense by himself, looking for the finishing blow, but it won't be at his shoulders there. Instead, Lake will claim the finishing kill, and Rek with a monster 3K will set the tone that M80 are looking for a quick night.
Absolutely ridiculous there from Rek. Clinical shots coming through. He didn't want to reload at the end there. He's just getting those headshots so clean. I think he had like 2 or 3 bullets left in the magazine. He's like, okay, maybe this will work. Then eventually does go for the reload, but he doesn't need to get that last frag. It is his teammates that come through to take care of it on the flank. So NRG do not get the pistol round victory, and they will come in here and they have to force that. There's really no choice. 4 Tech 9s and the Mac 10 come through. Automatic looking for some aggression. OC waiting with him, close by his side. But NRG are stacked up, likely just going to try and go for a blitz as soon as the flashes are thrown onto B. Let's see if it works out for them. Oh no, they won't get a chance to. Swisher actually takes the first fight. Lake gets the follow-up frag, and then Sin finds Hex. Nothing doing again. OC the last one standing, and it'll probably be 12-2. And oh, I take that back. OC's gonna get a couple here. Sin and Lake are his victims.
What?
He's making a case for it here.
That is incredible. What a double up. Now, Slacks. Gonna keep on aggressing forward. How diligent are you on the clear? Walks right into the clothesline. Now Slacks put on notice. He's panicking. Flashbang avoided. Smoke down, but he's boxed in. Oh my god, OC's got something special for us. He's gonna turn back around and towards Rek. And he's right in doing so. We'll see if a little patience goes a long way, or will Rek just break the heart of OC, not letting that clutch roll on through. So many good ideas, so many clean shots with that Tech 9, but Rek won't let you slide. They'll close out and provide safety for M80.
What an effort from OC, though. Seeing some shades of his past come through there. We had those types of clutches coming out on seemingly a regular basis, but, you know, perhaps a few struggles as of late for him finding form. I expect we'll see the old OC at some point or another, but in this one, I don't know. 12-2 in favor of M80. They got 10 chances to close this out. Look, they're just charging out of B main. Slacks gets 1, traded out by Nitro. Lake gonna try and farm away with the MP9 here. They just want to get this one over with, it seems. Lake waiting around the corner, util sailing forward, flash is galore, but it's just not enough. NRG don't have the firepower. Automatic slips through it. Actually, Hex does get 1.
Bomb grabbed.
Yeah, got the bomb back, and Lake didn't even realize it was right under his nose that they took that one away.
That was a smoke there, the actual chaining of smokes that got them in and out. And now, Rek's aggression might warrant some shakeups in this CT side. Gonna have to dive back towards this A side. I mean, they've got be well and clear, but as the smoke fades, then they no longer have bomb again. You now have to rotate in kind of an aggressive demeanor rather. It's gonna be Lake that makes that transition. Those footsteps, of course, being heard. There's no secret about it. He's gonna be left on an island, forced to play a little bit more passive on this this A side of the map.
Yeah, but NRG, they don't really have that much information going into Palace, and I think that's where they want to end up. And it's actually the incorrect call if you're looking at the numbers here. 20 seconds left as well, so they're going to have to go quickly. I would say advantage M80 here. Yeah, Rek pulls out the incendiary. Now a huge advantage. They have to charge through it. Automatic manages to get the trade and actually get that bomb planted. That will help immensely. I think Swisher, no, he won't get it. He won't make it a 2v1. It's all up to Lake, and the Molotov is thrown at the perfect spot for NRG. But Lake, he's still got a Molotov himself, an HE, and an A1S in his hands, the best rifle of any of the players left standing. It won't matter. OC, the headshot from the Galil, and NRG still have life.
Yeah, they're able to still stay alive. Absolutely terrifying when they were stomping through with 15 seconds left through Temple, but that Molotov, well, it does separate the offense a little bit. I think it was just a second too late for it to have that full impact, and you can see they just run right past it with those Tech 9s. That is the one asset that they did have, and that's mobility with Mac 10s and Techs. To back it up, they will just look super strong on a recovery effort. Now, how strong is your comeback? Because NRG are going to need a whole lot more of where that came from. It didn't have OC's damage in a before. This would be right back into trialing territory, but they are up against a very lackluster buy, and there's the best weaponry taken down already.
Oh, automatic getting taken down to 27. A little bit at risk, but his teammate supports him out. Rec actually managed to get the headshot on automatic, but Nitro's going to clean up the rest, it seems. He's got the nade out perfect. Swisher and Lake are in so much trouble. Lake somehow still alive, limping along, and he's the last one standing. Oh, that jump, probably a little bit scary for him. With only 1 HP left, but perfectly fine, of course. And now the round is, well, it's done. NRG are going to win this one way or another, and I mean, this was a force buy for M80. So they will have to at least go on an eco here for 1, perhaps even 2 rounds.
I'm going to take a little bit more time to seal the deal. Looking put together at the moment. It's NRG dealing with that force buy effectively. I mean, they went for a very similar play to what I believe it was Hex did in the opening force buy with the UMP. A couple flashes over middle. But this time you can see automatic with a little discipline. Waits the reaction from M80 and is able to take that mid space efficiently. Now we got 5 USPs. No flashes or anything. It's just going to be the Astralis stack. And they might walk into it, interestingly enough.
Oh. Oh. Not as much damage as I expected from those nades, and they do walk into it. And a couple of frags for M80. That's all they'll probably find here. Slacks, last one standing, and it's done. Yep. NRG get a 5th. I mean, I like the idea. I always did it ever since Astralis did it, but it's just that it's more often than not just only going to yield a couple of frags. It's very unlikely you're going to come out with a round victory in the situation because teams are expecting it, right? That's why you saw NRG throw all those nades, knowing that M80 were on an eco. Anyway, M80 still have a ton of opportunities to close out this map, and they'll get another very good one here, Cole, with 4 M4s and the op.
There's all their firepower to close this thing out. Have a good chance to do so in one of these mini opportunities. Main
aggression right now.
They're getting after it out of the gates. And they're going to also split through canals, but in doing so, they lose out on their mid-prong. It was pressure all over the map. Sin goes active towards middle. You've got the double up through E-box, and you've got those 2 players scaling. And now it's a Rec just containing all of this space towards A. So while it is a man down, it's not completely out. Not at all. Still attention being drawn in towards middle though, and even though they have all of this space on A, they're leaving this B-bomb site a little bit high and dry, and in doing so, late to the party on this site defense. Swisher has to do it all. Smoke would completely nullify him, but Rec finds another one. Now it's a man advantage. They got to figure out a way to cross comfortably, and oh my god, jumping up there. Hex playing a risky game as a flashbang to go through the smoke. Actually catches Swisher. He gets blinded by his teammate's flashbang. Costs him his life. Hex still having impact with low HP. Back this one up. It's going to be another player rolling on through. Lake's very low, just the same. Hex still holding the line. He does get knocked out by the AWP, and OC with a shot at closing out this clutch will step forward. A smoke on top of the bomb, but he goes for a different target, and it's successful. Lake now has to hunt him down. He whips out the sidearm, and that'll do him justice. This time, the Tech 9 will close out a round for him.
Oh my goodness, OC. Okay, maybe we are going to see some of the vintage OC coming through in this map after all. Great clutch pulled off there in the 1v2. Good shot to make it a 1v1. Misses the second one, but has enough time to pull out the Tech 9 and finish the job. I mean, Swisher got, like you said, I think he got caught by a flashbang from his own teammates. So that's unfortunate because I feel like it could have worked out in his favor, kind of catching NRG off guard, but it's just things didn't get timed very well on the M80 side. So another buy round goes by the wayside, and Anubis's T-sided nature is poking up its head once more. M80 onto a half buy here. They'll feature 2 Deagles, 2 5.7s, make that 2 Deagles and 3 5.7s, along with a few pieces of util. Could be a round that they can still pull off, depending on how things fall into place. NRG, though, they do not ever want to rush themselves. They take their time in every T round.
So on the default, I think OC's seen something, yeah. You can see from the shot. Got some vision on Slacks. We'll be able to knock him out with a wall bang and an extra shot to back it up. For good measure. Send dancing around with this utility. Imagine just going to be smoking off camera as soon as possible. We'll see when they finally start to scale. Gotta get that smoke down now, essentially. There it is. And now it's going to provide question marks for this NRG squad. 35 seconds left. They got to work within the confines of this clock and with the map control that they currently have at the moment. And pushing past this smoke could be a huge liability. The Deagle's close range, but Sin shifts up. And he misses his shot at knocking down these kills. Rex still available on this A side. Will be able to defend one prong. But the site already laid claim. Rex is going to try and get out of dodge with an AK in hand, and
yeah,
you got to take your prizes where you can.
Yeah, no, definitely. That AK is way too valuable. It's an eco round. Just grab it and go. He goes in for another fight, which I can't blame him for given the situation, but then when he doesn't find it immediately, it's the right decision to fall off here. Lake with the 5.7 in armor. Could argue that that is also worth keeping around, but I think he wants to do damage. Cannot blame him. A frag here would make it more than worth it, and there's one, maybe a second. That's clean. Automatic, waiting for reinforcements. Finds 3, in fact. Lake could even get them all. Finally, Nitro ends him. But that's an expensive round coming through from NRG. Not that it matters too much. They still got plenty of money and their backs are against the wall anyway. But still, nicely done there by Lake with the 5.7. And now M80 will have an AK. Lake built up a lot of money, so his utility will be strong. And another chance for M80 to close this out.
They'll get themselves right back to another purchase. Back with an AK, they got all the tools, smoke, everything you could ask for. What are they going to do now? They're going to shift things up, or they're going to continue this aggression. Here's some very fast-paced play, but they don't need to shift anything up. Rek could just knock down some quick kills. He gets caught with utility, thinking the coast was clear. This isn't the case, but still positive on the trade at the end of the day. And it's going to be left up to Hex, Nitro, automatic to pick up the pieces. What did Rek get away with there? Just 2 quick kills, maybe off of some utility, but this is that activity that I oftentimes will highlight as so valuable. It's one of the specialties that M80 have, is both sides of the half. Can do it on CT side, he can do it on T, but A is his domain when he's in the server. I don't think there's a lot of people that can keep up with how active Rek is at play in this position as well.
Yeah, he really is a key piece for them on Anubis, as we talked about in the pregame, as a player to highlight here on their CT side in particular. And he's doing what we expected. Slacks, waiting with the op. He's been very solid holding angles. Got the shadow advantage, and he also hits the shot onto Hex. Swings around, doesn't find the follow-up, though, so this one is still in doubt for M80. Swisher, I think he needs to wait for reinforcements. He really wants to peek, and he goes and finds the right time. Automatic with util in his hands, is caught out. Nitro naded down to 23 HP, flashed out now, trying to go for a fight. Doesn't have the bomb on his back, and finally M80, after multiple opportunities, do win the map 13-7 in their favor, so we end up splitting the series between both squads here, Cole.
Yeah, what did we get? We get more questions as to who's going to be dominating this region, who's going to be locking down, that top place in the ECLs we split in between. I believe that is, on Ancient, it was the first loss so far this season for M80 as well. So Also kind of getting them knocked down a little bit as they are looking to finish out their season strong. NRG show what they've been working on in the time in which M80 have been grinding out over there in Europe, and that's an impressive sign from them, is that they're able to keep things competitive. Even on Anubis, showed a little bit of flair. They could have got more CT rounds. I think there could have been a lot more chances for that comeback to continue, but such a one-sided half into a pistol loss. They were right up against 12 out of the gates, and that's always very challenging.
All right, let's check out the Kadia player to watch. It was Lake on map number 1, slowed down a little bit, but this time didn't really. I mean, he had that 573K that came through on the tail end of Anubis. You see the numbers, they're good. I mean, excuse me, that's not the summary of both maps. That's just Anubis here. A 93.4 ADR and an 18-13 record. That was far better than this performance on the first map. And I think overall we're seeing why Lake has been such a great addition to M80.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows so much depth in terms of what he's comfortable with in like opening moves. He can be so aggressive, he can be so efficient. He showed it on Ancient, and definitely gave a performance to be proud of there on Anubis after that. And it's what makes this map scary for a team like M80 at the moment. It's not much of an option when you play up against this squad, because you got Lake over there on that B side. He's a very scary, high ceiling player versus on the other side of the map, Rec and oftentimes Slack to deal with as well. So there's some challenges for sure, and I think NRG faced them today.
No question. I'm very much looking forward to seeing these two teams face off again, but that will wrap up our night here at the very least. I am JRT for Esner. We are signing off, guys. See you next week.